If you save just $10 a day, you'll have over $200,000. But almost nobody does this. I woke up every morning for a long time with the same question: what am I going to do with my money? When I set out to find an answer to this question, I realized that the biggest lie about money was this. People think that how much they earn is what matters. However, what matters is not what you earn, but what is left in your hands at the end of each day and what you spend it on. Take the total amount you saved over the past year and divide it by 365. The number that comes out shows the real investment you make in your future every day. For the vast majority of young people I meet, this number is either zero or below zero. It doesn't matter if they are doctors, software developers, or lawyers. Having a high income does not mean that people will automatically have wealth just with that income. Now think about the wealthiest person you personally know. While building their wealth, how much were they saving each day? Probably somewhere between $100 and $500. The distance between these two numbers explains almost all of financial destiny, not intelligence, not luck, not connections. Just the accumulation of each passing day. There is a concept in the military: tactical patience. It means taking the right small step without forgetting the big goal, and most importantly, staying loyal to the plan. This is exactly what works in financial life as well. Saving $30,000 a year scares you, but saving $82 a day feels achievable. They are the same number. But one paralyzes you while the other moves you into action. What I am explaining is about changing just one thing in the way you manage your money. It is about stopping making big plans and automating small daily actions. It is about building a system that works whether you have motivation or not, whether life becomes easier or harder, whether the markets go well or badly. As a result of what I am explaining, you will have a concrete and applicable daily plan in your hands, a plan that does not need willpower, a plan based not on discipline, but on a system. The most important lesson I learned from the military was this: if you want to win the war, win every morning. If you want to win every morning, win the first hour. If you want to win the first hour, win the first 5 minutes. When I applied this to my financial life, I realized that everything changed. Every morning, before picking up my phone, I do only one thing. I look at my financial situation, my current account, my total debt, and my investment portfolio. No analysis, no plan, just observation. 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute. That's all. I know it sounds insignificant. I thought the same when I first heard it, but I realize this. What you see every day becomes a priority in your brain. The numbers you look at monthly remain distant and abstract. The numbers you look at every morning become real and urgent. Your subconscious starts to optimize according to those numbers, even without you realizing it. This is where the importance of the morning comes from. After seeing your debt number, you start to avoid unnecessary spending during the day. After seeing your investment account grow, a small sacrifice gains meaning. Do you know what financially struggling people have in common? They avoid looking at their accounts, meaning they do not want to face the real situation. Because seeing hurts. But avoiding seeing feeds every behavior that makes the situation worse. Debt grows. Savings stay in place. Anxiety deepens. When you make looking a habit, the numbers lose their emotional weight over time. They stop being judgment and become information. And working with information is much more efficient than working with fear. Believe me. Try this tomorrow morning. Before starting the day, make yourself a promise. You will look at these 3 things. Nothing else. You will just look. It is that simple. The second step is about setting money aside, not after earning it, but before earning it. Most people save whatever is left at the end of the month. The problem is that usually nothing is left at the end of the month, because there is no goal regarding what should remain at the end of the month. Spending always fills the gap. I call this money leakage. Invisible, silent, and relentless. There's only one way to stop this, my friends: setting money aside before spending it. This method works mechanically as follows. Open a second account that you do not touch. Separate from the account you use for daily expenses. Set up a small automatic transfer into this account every day. The amount is not important at the beginning, $5, $10. Our goal is to gain this habit and discipline it over time. The difference between making a large monthly transfer and small daily transfers is psychological. A monthly $300 transfer looks big, creates a feeling of loss, and you skip it in a difficult month. A daily $10 transfer is almost not noticeable. There is very little change in your account. The transfer happens, but when you calculate at the end of the month, you have still saved $300. I lived for about 10 years with the budget I earned from the military. I learned to do a lot with little money. I confirmed through experience how small amounts turn into great power over time. $10 a day is $3,650 a year. $20 a day is $7,300 a year. $30 a day is $10,950 a year. These numbers may seem very small to you, but when you consider that most Americans' annual savings are zero or negative, any positive daily saving puts you ahead of the majority. As your income increases, increase the daily amount as well. Someone who starts with $10 and increases it by $5 every 6 months reaches $40 a day within 5 years. This is about $14,600 a year, without any budget meeting, without any willpower battle. The third step comes in the evenings. At the end of each day, spend 2 minutes looking at the expenses you made that day. Not to feel bad, not to feel guilty, just to understand the expenses you made. Open your banking application. Look at today's expenses. For each one, ask yourself a single question. Was this expense really necessary? Planned spending is unavoidable or intentional. Impulsive spending is the result of an emotional trigger. This 2-minute observation achieves something that monthly budget tables can never achieve. It captures the emotional memory of spending while it is still fresh. When most people review the expenses they made a month ago, they do not even remember why they made many of them. But for today's expenses, you know exactly what you felt. After a few weeks of this observation, your personal patterns become completely clear. Maybe you make impulsive purchases after a stressful day at work. Maybe after spending time on social media. Maybe when you are bored. Whatever the trigger is, when you see it, you can intervene. Monthly budgets try to control spending through restriction. This method fights against psychology. Daily observation works together with your psychology. That is why it lasts much longer. The fourth step seems paradoxical, something that is not directly related to wealth building. Every day, at least 15 minutes, learning something that will increase your earning potential. This can be a technical skill or a negotiation tactic or something like a business model analysis. Your income level is a direct reflection of the value the market assigns to you. The only way to increase that value is to grow your skills, your knowledge, and your network. 15 minutes a day corresponds to more than 90 hours of development per year. Imagine 2 people who start in the same position at the age of 25. One spends their time outside work resting, while the other dedicates this 15 minutes to strengthening their financial future. 10 years later, while the first person is almost at the point they started, the second person will have accumulated more than 900 hours of additional development. Promotions, salary negotiations, new opportunities. They both started the same job on the same day. 10 years later, you can be sure that the gap between their incomes will become enormous. I applied this 15 minutes in my last few years before retiring from the military. I started late, but the compound effect was still tremendous. You are starting at a young age. You cannot even imagine what it can do for you, my friends. The fifth and final step holds everything together. 3 minutes before going to bed, to plan the next day. What spending decisions will I face tomorrow? What situations might push me toward impulsive spending? What will I study in my 15-minute learning block? These 3 questions turn tomorrow from uncertainty into a concrete plan. Research shows this. People who determine in advance when, where, and how they will perform a behavior achieve it at a much higher rate compared to people who only have intention. Vague intention does not work. I will spend less tomorrow. Concrete plan works. Tomorrow I will bring lunch from home, skip the coffee break, and make my transfer before checking email. The difference is incredibly big, my friends. Because decisions are made in advance at night, they do not consume mental energy during the day, and decisions that do not consume mental energy can be sabotaged less frequently. Now let's look at how these 5 steps work together in synchronization. Your morning starts by observing your financial situation. 30 seconds to 1 minute. Throughout the day, this observation affects your decisions without you realizing it. Your automatic transfer happens. You do not do anything. The system you have set up works. Your 15-minute learning block happens no matter what time. In the evening, you review for 2 minutes. You notice the patterns. Before going to bed, you plan for 3 minutes. The total daily time investment is around 23 minutes. The yearly total is approximately 140 hours. These 140 hours provide greater financial return than any other use. Why don't monthly budgets work? The feedback loop is too long. You make a decision at the beginning of the month. You see the result at the end of the month. The connection in between is almost completely broken. Why don't yearly plans work? Life changes much faster than yearly plans. Assumptions made in February lose their validity in June. Daily habits work because each day is connected to the previous and the next. If you miss one day, you continue the next day. The system does not collapse. It becomes automatic through repetition. Once it becomes automatic, it continues to work without needing motivation. Now let's also look at the numbers, my friends. Let's assume you start with $12 per day. In the first year, $4,380. With a 7% annual return, after 5 years it reaches approximately $27,000. In 10 years, around $65,000. In 20 years, with investment returns, it exceeds approximately $200,000. If you increase the amount as your income increases, the 20-year total falls between $350,000 and $400,000, without anything extraordinary, no inheritance, no luck. We are talking about the tremendous income generated by a small system repeated every day, my friends. Beyond these numbers and calculations, there is something else, and I think this is one of the most important things. People who apply these steps actually develop their character in terms of finance. They move from being someone who tries to build wealth to someone who builds wealth. This identity change starts to affect their entire life. Spending decisions change. The question is no longer, can I afford this? The question becomes this: is this the right choice for the person I want to become? I saw this very clearly in the military. The best soldiers were not the strongest or the smartest. They were the ones who knew who they were and what kind of willpower and discipline they had. Identity directs behavior, and identity is built by repeating the same action every day. If you apply these 5 steps for 90 days, you are no longer trying to build wealth. You are building wealth. The difference looks small, but its effect on your life is enormous, my friends. Finally, I want to say this. These steps are not secret, not complex, and do not require a strong financial background. The only thing they require is making a small decision today and putting that decision into action. Take your phone right now. Set an alarm for tomorrow morning. Name it. First financial check. That's it. 10 seconds. But these 10 seconds will move you into action tomorrow morning and start the system. The majority of people who watch this will not do what is explained. They will find the ideas interesting, maybe even impressive. Then they will return to their old habits. A small portion will set the alarm. They will take the first step tomorrow morning. 1 year later, they will have saved thousands of dollars and gained a different identity. 5 years later, the gap between those who take action and those who do not will become visible. 23 minutes every day. 5 steps. A system that truly makes it difficult to remain poor. The ball is now in your hands, my friends. See you next time. take care of yourself.